finally in the playoffs. Toot toot!
Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into the captivating American animated romantic comedy drama movie titled Elemental, released in 2023. But before we start, a spoiler alert is in order. If you haven't seen the movie yet, you might want to watch it first. Now, let's get started. The movie opens with two fire beings embarking on a journey from their fiery homeland. Their travels lead them to the bustling city of elements, a melting pot of beings from earth, air, and water. Despite the city's diversity, these fire beings, Bernie and Cinder, find themselves a minority. An official at the border, unable to pronounce their names, dubs them Bernie and Cinder. In this city, water-based creatures dominate, leading to Bernie and Cinder facing judgment due to their fiery nature, often associated with destruction. They struggle with exclusion and finding accommodation. Concerned for his pregnant wife, Bernie renovates a deserted dwelling into their family home, despite its dilapidated state. Upon the birth of their child, Ember, they pledge to teach her their cultural traditions. From a young age, Ember learns about the empowering role of the blue flame, a belief held by her father. As more fire beings settle in Fire Town, an area outside Element City, Bernie and Cinder establish a business, the Fireplace. Even as a child, Ember assists in building the family business, catering to their fiery community. She dreams of inheriting the shop, but grapples with a fiery temper, often causing damage when upset. Influenced by Bernie, she develops a strong aversion to water beings. As an adult, Ember excels in the operational aspects of the business, but lacks customer service skills. True to her fiery nature, she struggles with her temper, often clashing with customers. Bernie reassures her that once she learns to handle customer interactions calmly, she will be ready to take over the shop. Until then, Ember handles deliveries, while Bernie manages the store. Cinder, Ember's mother, uses her mystical abilities to assess the compatibility of couples seeking relationship advice. Cinder eagerly anticipates Ember finding love, but Ember remains focused on work. Ember's young neighbor, Claude, an earth being, harbors feelings for her. His attempts to woo her with flowers are thwarted by Ember's fiery touch. Ember efficiently delivers orders to customers on her motorcycle. One evening, she returns to find Bernie asleep at the counter. She wakes him and urges him to rest, but Bernie's coughing signals his declining health. Ember realizes she must soon assume full responsibility for their family business, but first she must pass a crucial test. The following day, a major sale is planned at the store. Ember will handle all customer interactions alone, giving Bernie a much-needed break. Success in this endeavor will mark her transition to becoming the store's new manager. Ember seeks strength from the blue flame, vowing not to let anyone down in this challenge. The following morning, the shop is teeming with customers, causing Ember significant stress. To avoid an outburst, she retreats to the storeroom and vents her frustration in a massive flame. However, a pipe bursts, soaking her with water. Using her fire power abilities, she seals the leak, but the damage is done. The warehouse is flooded. Suddenly, a water being named Wade, who also serves as a city inspector, arrives and becomes emotional upon finding a family photo. Startled, Ember questions his presence, and he explains that he was investigating a leak when he got sucked in. Ember insists he leave as she needs to clean up the mess before her father discovers what happened. However, Wade insists on issuing a fine due to non-compliant plumbing. Upon hearing this, Ember reveals that her father built the entire place with his own hands, which makes Wade emotional again. Despite this, he remains duty-bound and prepares to file the citations. Ember attempts to stop him from taking the notes to City Hall, but Wade escapes out the window, prompting Ember to chase after him. In an attempt to reach Wade, Ember enters the subway and must dodge other passengers to find him without causing further damage. When she finally approaches him, he manages to escape again, and they both disembark from the train. The chase continues to City Hall, where Wade manages to forward the notes to the secretary. At that moment, he hears Ember express the importance of the store to her family, and Wade feels remorseful for imposing the fines. He attempts to help by taking Ember to his department head, Fern Grouchwood, to appeal the fines, but to no avail. The citations are sent to his boss, Mrs. Gale, sealing the fate of the store. After learning that her family's store will be closed in a week, Ember returns home to find her parents risking their lives to fix the now leaking pipes. Amid the chaos, Cinder reveals to her daughter the real reason she and Bernie left the Land of Fire. In their homeland, all the inhabitants had a blue flame that connected them to their families and traditions. After marrying, Bernie built a store to support his family, but a severe storm hit the area one day and destroyed everything. After this disaster, Bernie and Cinder decided to start anew elsewhere and abandoned their village. That was the last time the couple saw their relatives. Upon hearing this sad story, Ember feels even worse about the possibility of her father's store being closed down and decides to take action. The next day, she heads to City Hall to speak with Gale, but learns from Wade that his boss has gone to watch a basketball game. Feeling guilty about his role in the store's predicament, Wade decides to help Ember by taking her to the game, offering her a chance to save her family's business. Upon arriving at the stadium, Ember finds herself surrounded by a diverse crowd of creatures from various elements, but none from her fiery lineage, making her feel out of place. Despite this, she musters the courage to approach Gale. During their conversation, the opposing team scores. Seeing his favorite player disheartened, Wade begins to cheer for him, renewing Ember's self-confidence. After a risky maneuver, the player manages to catch the ball and turn the score. As the game concludes, the trio leaves the stadium celebrating their team's victory, and Ember reveals that her father's store is flooded. Upon hearing this, Gale is surprised as the Fire Village's water supply was turned off many years ago. Therefore, she proposes demolishing the store to investigate the anomaly. Ember, aware of her father's hard work in establishing the business, vehemently opposes this. Wade offers to help, claiming he can trace the leak's source. Once identified, a maintenance crew will be called in to fix the problem, saving Bernie's store. Upon arriving at the facility, they realize the leak is worse than expected. Ember questions how Wade got inside the pipes. He explains that he was in the canal checking for leaks when he spotted an unusual puddle of water. Shortly after, he was swept into the pipes by a downpour. Determined to find the leak, Ember creates a balloon using her fire powers and surveys the city from above. Over the central garden, she shares a childhood memory of longing to see a Vivisteria flower, known for its unique ability to bloom in any environment, including fire. Her excitement was crushed years ago when she and her father were denied entry to the garden to protect other plants. This disappointment was compounded when the garden flooded a few years later, robbing her of her chance to see the Vivisteria. Moved by her story, Wade empathizes with Ember, impressing her. They eventually locate the leak source and land in the canal, where they are caught in a torrent draining through a large hole in the dam. Wade is nearly swept away, but Ember saves him. Together, they use sandbags to stem the flow, preventing a flood in the fire village. After sealing the leak, Wade mentions a technical team will repair the gate within the week. Before Ember leaves, he asks her out, but she leaves without responding. Although interested in him, Ember knows her parents would disapprove of such a relationship. However, she tries to ignore this and claims she is going to make some deliveries, when in fact she is going to meet Wade. During their date, Wade becomes emotional upon seeing her. They go to the movies for the first time, enter a booth, and take some pictures together, but the light emitted by Ember prevents Wade from appearing in the image. For the first time, Ember enjoys herself outside her fire village and is touched by Wade's care for her. Back at the store, Cinder notices Ember looking at the photos and realizes her daughter is in love. As the days pass, Ember and Wade continue to meet, navigating the challenges of their elemental differences. Wade always tries to get closer to Ember, but she fears what might happen if they touch each other. Some time has passed since they used sandbags to close the hole in the dam, but the water has started to flow again, and the store's pipes have begun to leak. Just then, an earth creature appears in the store with some flower pots, informing them that it has a delivery for Ember. When she realizes that Wade is inside the containers, she quickly takes the flowers to the storage room. Wade then reveals that the sandbags can no longer dam the water, and the technical team is unable to fix the gate at the moment. Suddenly, Bernie comes downstairs and is furious to find a water being in his store. He immediately questions Wade's presence in the fire village, and Ember claims he is a food inspector. Bernie hands Wade some flaming cupcakes to try, which he eats to avoid suspicion. After the inspection, Bernie expels Wade, declaring him unwelcome in their store. That afternoon, Ember and Wade head to the beach to fill new sandbags to seal the dam leak. Ember is burdened by the thought of her parents losing the store after their sacrifices to start anew in the City of Elements. While comforting her, Wade notices Ember's fire ability transforms sand into glass. Inspired, Ember crafts a Vivisteria-like glass sculpture. Suddenly, she conceives a plan to repair the dam and rushes to the canal. Upon reaching the site, Ember uses her powers to transform the sandbags into a robust tempered glass barrier, effectively halting the leak. Before departing, Wade gifts her the glass sculpture from the beach, deepening her feelings for him. That evening, while tidying up the store, Bernie expresses pride in his daughter's newfound happiness and patience with customers, oblivious to Wade's influence on this change. However, Ember recognizes Wade's role and decides to seek him out. Meanwhile, Cinder, sensing the aroma of love, trails her daughter. Ember and Wade meet, and he invites her to dinner with his family. At the apartment, Ember receives a warm welcome from Wade's mother, Brooke, and is introduced to his family. During the conversation, Ember learns about Wade's childhood fear of sponges and his accidental entrapment in one. An accidental vase breakage at dinner allows Ember to showcase her talent, impressing everyone by reforming the broken pieces into a beautiful vase. After dinner, the family decides to play the game of tears, where the goal is to resist crying. The winner is the one who can go the longest without crying. When it's Ember and Wade's turn, Ember reveals that she has never cried in her life, ensuring her victory. Then Wade begins to express his feelings, stating that all he wants most is to be by Ember's side. At that moment, she imagines their future and realizes that because they are from different elements, they can never be together. This thought makes her shed a tear, and suddenly Wade receives a call from Gale, congratulating them both on their excellent work on the dam. As Ember says goodbye, Brooke mentions a friend who owns a renowned glass factory. During dinner, she contacted her friend and discovered they are looking for an intern to work at the company located a few kilometers away from the City of Elements. At this point, Ember is presented with an excellent opportunity, but declines for fear of disappointing her father, who expects her to inherit the store. Cinder, attempting to reach Ember at the apartment, eventually gives up. She catches Ember talking to Wade outside and departs. Swiftly, Ember gets on her bike and leaves, but Wade decides to accompany her and discovers that her wish was never to take over the store. Ember admits feeling obligated to repay her parents' sacrifices by taking over the store, a path she isn't sure she desires. At that moment, Cinder intervenes, testing Ember and Wade's compatibility with a ritual involving lighting sticks with her fire. Wade ingeniously uses his body to direct Ember's flame to light his stick, but Bernie's sudden appearance forces him to leave. Seeing his family reunited, Bernie announces his retirement in 2 days and shows Ember a sign with her name for the store, symbolizing his blessing, something he never received from his father. He plans a grand reopening to announce Ember as the new owner. The next day at Wade's house, Ember avoids discussing the compatibility test with him and gives him the glass sculpture as a farewell gift. Wade reveals a surprise prepared with Gale's help an air bubble for Ember to safely swim in the central garden. There, she is captivated by the underwater beauty, including a Vivisteria flower. As the bubble's air diminishes, Wade ensures her safe return. At that moment, Ember is overjoyed to see her dream come true. For the first time, the couple touches each other and are surprised to find that they can be together without any adverse effects. As they embrace, Wade confesses his luck in meeting Ember. This reminder of the responsibility she will soon bear prompts Ember to return to the store. Wade tries to persuade her to reveal the truth to Bernie, but Ember refuses to disappoint her father. Before returning home, she ends their relationship. The following evening, the fire community gathers for the store's reopening, eagerly awaiting Bernie's passing of the blue flame to his daughter. Unexpectedly, Wade shows up at the celebration and declares his love for Ember in front of everyone. Upon discovering his daughter's deception, Bernie is disappointed. At this point, Cinder intervenes, revealing to her husband that she has performed a compatibility reading for the couple and confirmed their true love. However, Ember denies her mother's interpretation and insists she doesn't love Wade. Disheartened by Ember's denial and the unraveling lies, Wade leaves in anger. In response, Bernie decides not to retire and cancels the store's grand reopening. Overwhelmed by these events, Ember retreats to a remote area outside the city, unable to shake off thoughts of Wade. As she reflects on the failed relationship, Ember notices the glass barrier she created at the dam beginning to fracture. A massive torrent threatens to engulf the fire village. Meanwhile, a heartbroken Wade is at a station preparing to leave the city. Upon realizing Ember's danger, he abandons his plans and rushes to assist her. Ember, on her motorcycle, struggles to alert her parents about the impending flood, but they are unreachable. Fortunately, they find safety just in time. Despite the danger, Ember bravely returns to the store to save the cherished blue flame, knowing its significance to her father. Wade arrives at the store to aid Ember. He holds the door while she constructs a glass wall to shield the flame. The floodwater soon invades the store, but Wade manages to protect the blue flame. Trapped inside with rising water, Wade begins to evaporate due to the intense heat. He suggests escaping through the damaged chimney. Realizing that there is no other way out, Wade bids Ember farewell, expressing no regrets for their profound love. After the flood subsides, Bernie and Cinder find their daughter, who mournfully reports Wade's sacrifice. However, Ember then hears Wade's cry. Miraculously, he survives, and they reunite with a promise never to part again. Months later, Bernie's store thrives with new employees. Ember and Wade, ready for a new chapter, leave their families for Ember's internship at a leading glass design company. Before departing, Ember respectfully bows to Bernie, who reciprocates with his blessing, acknowledging her new path. The movie ends? We hope you enjoyed our recap here at Plava Recap. If you're a fan of this kind of movies, don't forget to hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more movies magic, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss a single recap. Until next time, happy watching.